Welcome back to the channel then. We are back today with episode number 2 of the 5th season here of the Ros-Albastrii, and today we're going to be taking on AS Roma in the Champions League group stages. Can we get the result that we require? We need to press on now with this Champions League gig, and fingers crossed we can do that. We're away from home though, so it's going to be a tough game, but I think the lads here have got the potential to be able to do a job today. So let's get into it and find out, shall we? So back into the thick of it we go, and our first game after that CS Craiova victory in the Supercoppa Romane was a 3-0 victory here over FC Voluntari, where we dominated the game from start to finish. 30 shots to their 4. Callum Gribbin, Muniru and Will Keane on the score sheets with 62% of possession. We dominated it as expected, and we kind of do this now. So we're going to whip through a few games before we get into today's episode. We've got quite a few games to come up, so let's get on to the next one. So then, following on from Voluntari was a 4-0 victory over Astra Giurgi. We're at home this time at the National Arena, our first home game of the domestic league season. And Gribbin was again on the score sheet, as was Will Keane and Christian Lecucha with a goal here. An own goal from Florian Prea in the 55th minute made it 4, and we dominated again. 59% of play, 12 shots to their 4 rather. And we just performed really well. Paweł Alkowski, who we bought in the transfer windows, performed really well here with a 9.0. Gribbin with an 8.9 for a goal and assist. And overall, a very dominant performance by Steaua Bucharest. So the next game we played came against Târgu Mureș. We're away from home this time at the Transil in Târgu Mureș. And Steaua Bucharest dominated again here, 61% of play, open play at that. Cristian Novacek with a man of the match performance with an 8.9 rating prior to coming off as a substitute in the 73rd minute. Ruben Perez also played really well, as did Callum Gribbin. Gribbin on the score sheet again with Will Keane. Andrei Kordos opened the scoring with an own goal before Ruben Perez made it 4 in the second half. A much better performance from our team here. We dominated from the get-go. Next to receive the wrath of Steaua Bucharest were Gazmatan Medias, and we were at home again this time, and it was Alex Juricevic with a hat-trick on one of his first games of the season. He's been out with an injury-enforced layoff, but he come back with a brilliant performance here. Hat-trick on his first game, 9.7 average rating here. Throughout the match, a man of the match performance and an assist with his hat-trick was just brilliant. Lecucha also picked up a goal to add another for his seasonal tallies. Now we have 58% of play, we had 12 shots at goal, and all in all this was a really impressive performance. After that came CS Craiova, and we were at home again. This time goals coming from Alex Juricevic, Paweł Alkowski and Lucas Biglia from the penalty spot in the 91st minute, cancelling out the early Michael Anaba goal. They went 1-0 up early doors, but the lads really pulled it back, particularly in that second half. We really turned the screw. We had 15 shots to their 12. I'd say they gave us more of a game than any of the teams we played in recent outings. Biglia with a really good performance, 7.3. Gribbin 7.4 again, and Alkowski, yet another man of the match performance. He came on at half time for Will Keane and performed exceptionally well in the Steaua Bucharest kit. Next up after that came Vital Constanta. Now we were playing here in Ovidiu in Central, and we beat them 2-1. We went 2-0 up courtesy of a brace from Christian Lecucha, but they managed to get back into it through Cosmin Tukaliuk in the 74th minute. But unfortunately, unfortunately they couldn't get back into it, but we managed to hold on really stoically at the back. Christian Lecucha with a man of the match performance, really solid defensive effort, good keeper ratings as well. We played really well and deserved the result in this game. Then after that performance came a 2-0 victory over Panduri Târgu Jiu. Goals coming from Cristi Novacek and Robert Vilcanu, who got on the score sheet for the first time this season. He come on as a half-time substitute. 62% of play, we dominated again, 27 shots to their 7. Alkowski went off in the 80th minute for Bryce Deja JJ. Cristi Novacek with a really good performance, but Will Keane was pretty much the top man, and he was the man of the match this time round. Cristian Lukucha as well with a good solid 8.2. But again, we were too good for them, too good domestically, as has become expected of Steaua Bucharest, and we march on with another good result here. Well, next up came our first match of the Champions League group stages, and we played Legia Warsaw. And Robert Vilcanu managed to open the scoring for us in the 68th minute. We had Lucas Bilia sent off with a second yellow card in the 49th minute of play. And that really put us on the back foot in that second half. But we managed to come out of it with a result courtesy of that Robert Vilcanu goal. We dominated the game again, 20 shots to their for 65% of that play. But they did get a man sent off in the 76th minute. Michael Pazdan was sent off for a second yellow card, second bookable offence. That kind of evened things out for the last 15 minutes, which worked in our favour. We managed to press them in that defensive third in that last 15 minutes of the game, and we just really saw the game out quite strongly, really. So then, after we played Legia Warsaw, we had a boring 0-0 draw against Poli Timisoara. We dominated again, 59%. We passed the ball really well here now at the National Arena. The lads have really come together as a team. Maniru with a 7.5 man of the match performance, but it's a very drab 0-0 performance right the way through, and we just never looked at the races in this one, unfortunately. We were, however, back on form in the Romanian League Cup quarter-finals, and we played Panduri Targu. We had a 4-0 victory here, courtesy of goals from Lukucha, Ash Kigbu getting in the side for a rare appearance, Alex Juricevic from the penalty spot, and Kristi Novacek in the 64th minute. Now, Alin Tosca picked up an injury in the 38th minute of play and unfortunately had to come off, but was replaced by Dragos Nedelcu. Cristian Lukucha with another man of the match performance this season. 1 goal, 2 assists, a brilliant return there for him. So we dominated that. We're now through into the semi-finals of the Romanian League Cup. And then in our most recent game, we played UTA Batrana Doamna in the league at home again at the National Arena. We had an attendance of 13,500, and we put 5 goals past Batrana Doamna here. A really, really solid performance. We had 60% of play, 37 shots to their 2. They just did not turn up whatsoever today, did Batrana Doamna. We had goals coming from Kristi Novacek, Paweł Alkowski on the score sheet. Again, Will Keane with a brace, and one of those being from the penalty spot, and Cristian Lukucha in the 90th minute of play. And again, he picks up another man of the match performance here for a superb performance, really, from a 17-year-old. Now, let's go in and have a look at how he's getting on. And we can see he's declining in a couple of areas. Now, I need to take a look at that. But so far this season, he's played 12, he's scored 6, he's had 5 assists and 3 man of the matches. That is a brilliant return for him. And I'm hoping, we've got an important game coming up next against AS Roma, and I'm hoping that he can play an influential role in that. Let's have a quick look at the schedule then. And the schedule here, we can see we've got a real sea of green going on here, apart from that one draw against Poli Timisoara where we just couldn't seem to penetrate that last man in the Poli Timisoara defence. Which was obviously their goalkeeper. Now we've got Roma coming up today in this episode. We're going to live com this game on key highlights. So then we're locked in for today's game against AS Roma here. We're away from home. We're against Roma. They've got a pretty central formation going on here. A 4-2-3-1 narrow formation. They've got Douglas Santos left back, Juan Jesus, Jason Danea, Florenzi, Nangolan, Mvila, Schlopf, Klaassen and Gudelj with Z Gomez up front. We've got Kojikaru in goal, Eden Ibrich, Jack Stevens, Kenneth Omaruo, Paweł Alkowski. Cristian Lukucha's had to fill in at left back this time. We've got injuries to both Alin Tosca and Novacek. Razvan Marin in the middle with Ruben Perez, Wilkeen Gribin and Ionita lead the line for us. It's going to be a tough game today, I'm sure we can all agree here. And the managers shake hands. We've shook hands there with the Roma manager. And the team's now come out of the tunnel here for the Champions League. Now, as you can see here, the lads are lining up here. We're going to be kicking from right to left here, and Roma have kicked off the game now. Roma have the ball. Now, we've ended that highlight, and we're going to have another highlight coming up soon. So we're just going to sit tight and see what happens now. We're going to certainly encourage the lads here, see what can come of this. So we've got a highlight now, and it's Kojikaru on the ball. Plays it out wide to Eden Ibrich, who finds Cristian Lukucha, who plays it back to Ibrich. Eden Ibrich towards Ruben Perez now finds Lakucha, Gribbin, Ionita. Ionita plays it into Will Keane. Now finds Gribbin, and Gribbin's in space, and Callum Gribbin opens up the scoring there for Steaua Bucharest. A brilliant start to this game for Steaua Bucharest, and we are now 1 goal to the good here against Roma. A really impressive finish that from Gribbin there. Lovely side-footed into the corner of the net there. Beautiful stuff that from Callum Gribbin, as we've come to expect from him. Obviously, we're playing Lakucha out of position. That's come up on the screen there, so don't worry about that, guys. But Gribbin is the man today. And we've got around a half an hour mark now. We're just going to calmly tell the lads now just to concentrate now as we're coming up towards half time. We don't want to give anything away in those areas. Now Ionita has the ball, finds Alkowski, who cuts inside, finds Keane, but the ball is cleared by Danea, but only as far as Ibrich, and Ibrich now plays it to Lakucha. Lakucha to Gribbin into Keane, Keane into Ionita, and Ionita makes it 2-0 here, just going into half time now, and Ionita has made it 2-0 courtesy of a lovely through ball there from Will Keane, who kind of hit it on the turn, and Ionita first time past Alisson to score a fantastically crafted move that from Steaua Bucharest. And we are good value for this league going into half time. Now we're just going to tell them we're very happy with how things are going, and we want them to keep it up in the second half. So Ionita was kicked off now, and Alkowski now has the ball towards Ibrich. That is in that highlight. 50 minutes gone now. Al-Sharawi now on the attack. Finds Klaassen to Z Gomez. Z Gomez looks around him, tries a shot from outside the edge of the area, but the ball goes well over the bar and out for a goal kick. Now it's going to be Kojikaru who takes it, plays it out wide to Eden Ibrich. Ibrich back to Kojikaru, to Kenneth Omaruo, out wide to Olkowski now. Olkowski on the ball now. Lovely lofted pass, but Danea gets the ball, plays it back to Alisson in goal. Alisson boots it forward towards Z Gomez. They're playing direct football here now, Roma, and they're on the attack. They're looking threatening here, and Al-Sharawi takes a shot, but it's saved by Kojikaru. Now we're just going to go on to a defensive mentality, and we're just going to tell them now just to tighten up. We don't want to get caught here by the lads that are going to be looking for this counter attack. So we've got Alkowski on the ball now. He looks inside. Lovely ball to Gribbin, who makes a great run behind the defence, and Alisson has to be alert and down low to his left, makes that save now, and Gribbin's going to take the corner. He's going to whip it in towards what looks to be Ibrich, and Ibrich gets a flick on towards Ruben Perez, but it's cleared by the Roma defender. Now Lakucha has the ball now. Will Keane picks it up, and that is the end of that highlight. We now move into around the 70th minute in this game, and we're going to make a quick substitution now that we can, and we're going to bring on Bryce DJJ for Christian Lakucha. Again, he's not really programmed for this position, but Lakucha's down to 59% here, so we just want to try and keep him for other games. He's only 17 years of age, and we're just going to switch this back to contain now. The last couple of minutes, we're going to bring on Luca Valencia, and we're also going to bring on for Gribbin Florinal Coman, just to give him a little run out here. But we've managed to beat Roma 2-0 today, unless, of course, there is a final twist in the tail, which I don't think is going to be the case here. Gribbin has played brilliantly today. Now we've got a highlight here for Roma, Florenzi on the ball, but that is it. We're here at the Olimpico, and that is a 3-point haul for Steaua Bucharest, and we now go top of the Group H here. We've picked up 2 victories from 2 games, a real solid. We haven't conceded yet in the Champions League, which I'm sure we can all be very, very pleased about. So we've received 1.29 million again for winning in the Champions League. Let's have a quick look at the finance. We've got £40 million in the overall balance. We've got 225k in the transfer budget. I'm not too worried about that. We've bought a few players in, but we're wheeling and dealing quite well here. And I will say, we will speak to Lakucha. We'll tell him that we're going to rest him. He doesn't want the rest, so we're not going to do that now. We're going to praise Gribbin's performance, and he takes that really well. So you can see here, we have just beaten Roma 2-0 here, against what people expected really. We're away from home, we're in a strong stadium, but we managed to get the job done. We've got a few games coming up next. We've got Concordia Shajna Cluj and Dinamo Bucuresti. We've then got Villarreal in the group stages. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to play the next 3 games off camera, the 3 domestic league games. We'll come back for the Villarreal match in the Champions League. That will be out on Friday. So make sure you join us for that. Obviously, today's episode was on a Thursday, which is not what we usually do here on this channel with this series. We usually have them on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays and Saturdays. But we're going to trial getting them out each day and see what happens there. See if that gets more people involved. But leave a comment down below, guys, what you think of this episode. Did you enjoy it? Let me know. Any players you think perform well, any players you think I should be looking at. Leave a like on the video as well, and I'll catch you next time.